Hello, and welcome along to Adobe After Effects with your host, Robert Smith. In this more advanced video, we're going to look at the integration between Cinema 4D and After Effects, which is great. So let's get stuck in. Cinema 4D is a serious 3D application, whereas After Effects likes to dabble in the 3D world, or the 2.5D world as we like to call it. It just takes it that one step further. So let's have a look how to do this. If I go to composition, I'm going to go to new composition like this. 1280 720, 10 seconds, 25 frames per second is good. Okay, that. Now, to actually use this, it's actually a plug-in. I'm going to go to Layer like this, New Maxon Cinema 4D file like this. It's going to ask me where do I want to save it. I'm going to call this Test 1. I'll save it in the same folder as the After Effects folder, or the After Effects file, I should say. Okay, and here it is. It opens up. Now, this is the light version. Cinema 4D is a serious 3D application, and it works at many levels, and you get this free version where you can do lots and lots of things. Okay, now, if you've used After Effects before, it would assume that you're a bit savvy with the After Effects techniques, because there's a lot of things are the same. Now, for example, this is the timeline down the bottom. This is how we put keyframes in this little part here. Here's our settings over here, if you like, and more of a library type effect up here. But let's actually do something. To create something, you need a primitive to start with, and there's a number of ways of doing that, but I'm just going to click here, and you'll see I've got all sorts of different shapes. So I'm going to click on cube, and you'll notice now that we have this cube in the middle of the screen like that, and up here we now have a reference to it like that. So if I click on here, if I want to select that, I can select it here, or I can select it up there. And you'll notice down here, now we have a whole lot of properties, things we can animate. This is exactly the same as After Effects. It just takes a little while to get used to where they are, like what basic is and what coordinates. That makes a lot of sense because that's X, Y, and Z, and rotation and scale and things like that. Now, more of that in a minute. Okay, so here's my cube. Now, I've got all sorts of things like a landscape in the background. Now, to get rid of all that, I'm going to go Apple R like that, just to have a preview of what it looks like, and then I'm going to click to go away. Now, the default size in Cinema 4D is very old-fashioned, so we're going to go up here and fix that. I'm going to click here, and under the presets for film and video, I'm going to go to the 720-25 high def, this one here, and that'll give me 1280 by 720, 25 frames per second. Okay. Now we'll do the duration in another place, but that's it. That's the same as the file is in After Effects, so we'll go back there and both screens should match. Okay, let's do a little bit of animation. Let's see how that works. Now what I want to do is I want to put it in the starting position, much the same as I would in any After Effects animation. So I'm going to grab this by these three little, there's three handles. You can go up like that, or you can go into the Z space like that, X space like that, and Y up and down. What we want to do is we want to go across the X landscape. So I'm going to go over here, put it over there where I want it to start, or about there where I want it to start. Okay, now how do you put a keyframe in? There's two sorts of keyframes. There's an automatic keyframe, which is this one, and there's a manual keyframe. They've got fancy names, but the first keyframe, or the starting position, I'm going to click just there. You'll notice I get a little blue keyframe here. That's what a keyframe looks like. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on, the automatic keyframe. So whatever I do from now on will be recorded. Some say this is a bit dodgy, but let's see how it works. I'm just going to grab my current time indicator and move it to about 40 frames. It likes to work in frames here on the timeline, like that. And then I'm going to grab this red thing and just drag it across here like that to about there. And you'll see I get an automatic keyframe because something's changed. Now to play that, I just rewind and press the play like that, and we get the animation. And that's basically it. There's a lot more to it, but as you can see, it's not as frightening as you might think. It's very much, the analogy is much the same as After Effects. Okay, so you've created a primitive, you've done a little bit of animation, you want to see that back in After Effects. To do that, we'll simply save the file, Apple S to save it, and Command Tab back into After Effects. And now you'll notice that it's come into After Effects. In our properties over here, we've got the Cineware 4D properties of the plugin we can play around with. When it comes in very, very rough, or what we might call software render here. So I'm going to click that and change that to standard draft. Okay, so we don't see all that background. And let's have a look at our animation inside After Effects. Okay, let's press the space bar to watch that. As you can see, this is version 2014 I'm using, so there is the RAM previews available here, as opposed to the new version 2015. Okay, let's have a look at that fantastic little animation we've just made in Cinema 4D. Okay, as you can see, it has immediate 3D, a 3D look about it, which is really, really good. Now, there's a bit of an issue with it. You'd think maybe it would come from Cinema 4D with all the 3D properties, but basically it's just a 2D layer now. So you really can't integrate things. You can put things on top of it and all that sort of thing. But it's not a true 3D layer. As you can see, the 3D is not available down here, 3D option for this. Okay, in the next video, we'll have a look at animating a little bit of text in Cinema 4D. Okay, thanks for watching.